What is going on, family? How is everybody doing? I hope you all are having an absolutely wonderful day. Listen, we don't have to be here long. This day is, you all saw, I put up some stuff about my earlier videos of Boyce Watkins, right? So this day is a long time coming, right? Just the culmination of all of this stuff that we've been talking about for a very long time. I want you all to, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go hit that sub. Please hit the like button while you are here. But we got some stuff to talk about just really quickly because I don't like to talk about something that's already been done. I think Antonio has done a great job. I think Pocket Watching with JT, they have done a great job. So it ain't a lot left to say. I just have one thing in terms of a culmination of these events, family. I just have one additional thing that I would like to say. One additional thing that I would like to say, because let's just go back down. We all know Boyce Watkins. He has, and I will put up the tweet, but from what we understand, the Black House has been sold. Jay Morrison is gone, and when the money has apparently gone with him. He is going to do some other stuff, maybe with the church, maybe start a new fund. We do not know. But ladies and gentlemen, people are talking about, now it wasn't just Boyce Watkins who co-signed Jay Morrison. It was the pimp who shall not be named, but we have a different expectation. There is a different expectation of someone who has a PhD. Now, I'm going to put forth a theory that I do not believe. I got an awful gash on my arm. I just knocking in everything. But I want to put forth a theory. I don't believe that this is just a case. Like, listen to me closely, fam. I don't believe that this is just a case of Boyce co-signing somebody. I want to put forth a different theory for everybody. My theory is that Boyce did not co-sign Jay Morrison. He made him. This was not a case of why did you co-sign this person. This is a case of why did you make this person. Now, before I get into that, like I said, we ain't got to be here no long time, fam, but I just want to bring up Boyce's defense, right? Because one of the things, you're going to see something very interesting about the defense that he makes in this case. He's making a defense. A few people have asked me about the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Wonder why, boys? Although I issued a statement and did an interview about it, right, at I Never Knew TV, the facts are simple. I invested $10,000 in the fund, but like a lot of investors, I have never got my money back. Now, here's the problem. Here's the first problem. You are putting forth this idea that you are just the same as all of the regular investors, that you are not a PhD, that you are not the person who came out and said, why wouldn't you invest? Everything looks solid. I looked at it. You co-signed this as a finance PhD. You are not just another investor. So number one is total trash, because that's not what this was. This was not the case of one investor. And I was just like the rest of y'all. You knew this man for a decade, and I'm gonna show y'all that. You elevated this man for a decade, and I'm gonna show y'all that. I never worked for the fund. Now, I want to come out of here for just 1 second. I want to, or make this a little bit smaller. Maybe I'll make this just a little bit smaller, because I want you to see me when I call out this con. I never worked for the fund. Be very careful of people who answer allegations that you never made. Nobody has ever made the allegation that Boyce Watkins worked for the fund, or that he was on the board, or that he was in leadership. Nobody ever made that allegation. Why is this man, right? Why is this man answering allegations that nobody made? Nobody said that, Boyce. People said that you should have, if you didn't know better, you should have known better, because you are a finance PhD. That's what everybody said. And you got there on that stage, and you co-signed it, and you say, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't invest. And you say, I have looked at this thing from the structure, and the structure is solid. You co-signed. Nobody said you worked there. Nobody's accusing you of being the CEO or the CFO or the CFO. So why are you answering an allegation that nobody ever made, Boyce? Why? It's a dodge. Now let's go to number 3. I I did not receive a penny from the fund, but investing involves risk, and you should always do due diligence before investing. I do not give investing advice on my platform. You did give investing advice when you said, why wouldn't you invest? Part of everybody doing their due diligence was listening to a finance PhD who said he cared about ADOS people. This man said, I care about you. This is why I do the work I do. I told everybody he's a lie. I told y'all that for years. And y'all, a lot of people let this man run around and just call me names. She's a negative naysayer from the basement. She don't know nothing. You never ran a business either, Boyce. This little thing where you do classes, that's not a business. That is not a business. You manipulate people, you manipulate our people, and you manipulate their aspiration, their desire to be wealthy. That is a con. That's not business. All this little class selling stuff, that's not business. But again, people were doing their due diligence. They were trusting someone who they thought knew about investing, who was you. And you saw, and you got on stage and said, I have looked at the inside of this, and this is, I don't understand why you wouldn't invest. That's what you said. You co-signed it. Now, number 4, TREF is not my company. It's not my company. I do not give their board meetings. We didn't accuse you of that, Boyce. This is a dodge. Let me tell you part of the problem with Boyce. Boyce thinks all Negroes are stupid except him. That's one of the problems with him. He is a below average thinker who believes that he is superior to all Negroes because somehow somebody gave him a finance PhD. Now, the truth of the matter about Boyce Watkins is that he landed on YouTube because he couldn't do nothing else nowhere. That's the truth. Tried to work on Wall Street, they didn't want him. Tried to go and teach at the college, they didn't want him. Right? Ended up suing, and I know all the juice, boys. You ended up on YouTube because you couldn't make it nowhere else. Now, see, that's very different from me. I ended up on here because I did go somewhere else and decided I didn't want to be there. Right? That's different. We different. You ended up here because you couldn't do nothing else. The white folk wouldn't hire you. They hired me, and I don't brag about it. I left because I wanted to leave. They didn't want you. Everywhere you went, them white folk put you out. And that's why all your grievance come from with the white. Yeah, yes, because they nobody wants you, boys. But people believed you. He has a finance PhD. He's a high-level thinker. He got in there and co-signed it. So TREF is not my company. I do not give their board meetings, and I've never been given. I've never been on their management team. But you said you saw the insides of the fund, and why wouldn't you invest? I have no inside information. What? You said you saw, I looked at the strategy and it looked good. That's what you told people. That's not inside information. People connected me to the fund because I appeared at one of their events 6 years ago, and Jay is my friend. However, I cannot speak to the way Jay runs his business. I can only speak to the way I can only speak to my own. Well, hold on a second. I'm gonna take y'all back 10 years. We ain't got to be here no long time. That we ain't got to be here. A lot has already been said that I absolutely agree with. So we don't have to be here a long time. We're going to get out of here quick. We'll make light work of Mr. Watkins. I tried to tell everybody. I tried to. So you can go back a decade. You can go back, and this fool didn't even delete the stuff from his feed. He didn't even delete the stuff from his Twitter. All of the records are there. I got them all screenshotted now, but all of the records are there. So you have him. Jay Morrison will be visiting the Black Business School tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You are telling people when he's visiting your business school that he knows business. He's not just your friend. He's somebody you trust. You're telling him when you say, hey, y'all, he's going to be at my business school later on. You're telling him you trust him to teach your students business. So don't come out here now. Well, I didn't know, and who know? None of us knew. We didn't know. He's just my friend. I don't know. I ain't do business with him. I'm going to prove from your own timeline that you did do business with him. He was not just your friend. You are a liar. Because your own timeline disproves you. This is not about me. This is not about something I'm saying. Your own timeline. I told y'all years and years ago. I told y'all way back in like 2017 when it was like 2016 when I left Boyce. I told y'all leave him alone. And everybody, and there was a whole whisper campaign. No, Yvette just a negative naysayer. Bada bada bing, bada bada boom. Okay. Okay. Now what? Jay Morrison is coming to Jay Morrison, Mr. Real Estate. You are calling this man Mr. Real Estate on your timeline. You did not. That's why I said, fam, Boyce Watkins did not just select Jay or co-sign Jay. He made this man. He spent 10 years elevating this man and validating Jay Morrison, who we know high school dropout, sold crack to his daddy, according to him, was going through a bankruptcy at the time of the TREF. You can find all this. You can go find all this on Antonio's videos, Pocket Watch from JT, my old video. Like, we know all of the reasons that he shouldn't be doing that. That he shouldn't be anybody you should give your money to. A litany, a list of reasons. Somebody reached out to Antonio and said, he took money from me. We were supposed to do a deal together. He took the house somehow. And he reached out to Antonio and talked about all of this stuff that we were trying to tell people. You know who got in the way of us? We could have saved a lot of more people money. Some people heard us and didn't invest. Some people heard us and say, oh, no, I've been listening to Yvette and Tone and I ain't doing this. We could have saved a lot more money if we didn't have a finance PhD get in the way of the critique we were trying to make. We could have saved y'all money. So when you ask, does Boyce Watkins owe you money? Yes, he does. Because we were trying to tell you, don't do this. And he was saying, don't listen to Yvette. Don't listen to Antonio. They're just negative people. That's what he said. He's been platforming this man for years. Let me show you. Jay Morrison this is 2017 right here. Dr. Boyce Watkins Twitter. Jay Morrison, why buying a new car cash is the stupidest decision you can make. You are platforming this man as an expert on finance. So if you spend a decade, I'm going to take you back to 2014. If you spend a decade platforming somebody as an expert on something, don't turn around and then try to act like, why y'all saying that I did something wrong? I ain't do nothing wrong. I don't know what he do. I don't know how he do it. For a decade, 2014 to 2024, Boyce Watkins was platforming Jay Morrison as an expert on finance, as Mr. Real Estate. Yes, you are accountable. And the only thing this man has dodged accountability. He didn't even say, I thought he was a good guy. I didn't know. I made a bad decision. The paperwork was different than what I saw. He didn't say none of that stuff. He came out and said, y'all stupid. Y'all don't know how to invest. I lost money too. Why you looking at me? Well, we looking at you because if you should have told them not to look at you and you didn't know enough and they would listen to us. A lot of people would have saved money. He went on a smear campaign. Him and the pimp who shall not be named, but the pimp who shall not be named didn't graduate high school and ran to California to chase pit bulls. So we understand that he doesn't have the expertise. Boyce, you're a PhD and you always running around with these little thuggy rugged bone people. And I don't know what part of you is so insecure that you think you need the approval of these people. I don't know what part of you was a nerd in high school and just feels like you need the approval of the cool Jay Morrison, swagger, rich, or the pimp who shall not be named. I don't know what part of you that is. I don't know what part of you ran to the pimp who shall not be named and said, I'm gonna gossip about Yvette. Let me tell you, you didn't know nothing about me. We were never friends. But there's something wrong with you. There's something undiagnosed. Now, this man, hold on, his voice again. This man is raising $40 million to invest in the black community. Meet Jay Morrison. You introduced us to him. You introduced us to him. Understand trying to dodge accountability, and you introduced us to the man. How many followers Boyce got? 300,000 on Twitter? How many he got on Facebook? How many he got on YouTube? How many you introduced people who had never heard of this man to this man? And when we tried to say, leave him alone, you said they're just negative. Launched a whole campaign against us. You built Jay Morrison over a decade. Come on now. Put him out there as an expert. You even went at, I don't even like Vlad. I think Vlad is awful. I think they the police. But he was right about Jay Morrison. And you was like, what's Vlad trying to destroy Jay Morrison and the Tulsa Real Estate Fund? Here you go. Here you go. Like, honestly, like, what are we talking about? What kind of conversation do y'all want to have? Listen, Boyce spent an enormous amount of time defending and platforming this man, and now he acts like, I don't know, I thought, he was just, I was just like you. I just like you. We both lost money. I don't know what you're looking at me for. And I lost money. I lost money on a lot of things. And let me tell you, you know who I don't like? I don't like Yvette Carnell. he just throw my name in there. I mean, I feel bad about a lot of people I platform. Yvette Carnell, for one. Yvette Carnell said stuff about Boyce, and really stop saying the whole Farrakhan thing, because I got the receipt of you saying that you were very happy with the Farrakhan video because it got so many clicks and likes. So I've already put it up on Instagram for. We don't have to revisit that. I mean, just all this pathological lying is just becoming a problem. The reason I support Jay Morrison's Black Rights Party, y'all remember the Black Rights Party? I had forgot about that. Jay Morrison came out. That's part of the reason I knew he was crazy and not just didn't know. He came out and came out with a whole party. I got a political party. No, everything Jay Morrison did, Boyce Watkins came out and supported it. Everything. Everything. The reason I support Jay Morrison's Black Rights Party is because I love black men who work together rather than compete and undermine each other. That's the kind of energy we need. That's what Pocket Watcher with JT said. He has that B1. I just want to support the brother, even if he's wrong. I love his Black Party. I love everything Jay Morrison do. ADOS leaders. See, he made us. See how he did us? ADOS leaders. Jay Morrison is a dirty capitalist. The people who shall now be named is a dirty capitalist. Boyce Watkins is a dirty capitalist. Byron Allen, the billionaire. That's our buddy. He paying our bills. Nobody ever paid my bills. I've never received a dime from Byron Allen, and I wouldn't. I'm not compromising that way. But he cast this to make it appear as if our problem with Jay Morrison was that he was a capitalist. That wasn't the problem. That wasn't the critique. Let me tell you something. The one thing I want people to do is you should never trust people who are not going to deal with the criticism. We made very specific criticisms of Jay Morrison. Antonio Moore even brought out the contract. He talked about the key man clause. He talked about the way everything was built around this one man, right, who was Jay Morrison, and like, how can you have a whole fund that is his? That was a whole show he did about that. So if you are going to talk, I did 2 or 3 shows about, like, if you are going to talk about what we think about Jay Morrison, if you want to have that debate, that's fine. But talk about the points that we made. We didn't make the point to, like, oh my God, capitalism is bad, Jay Morrison shouldn't have a fund. That was never the criticism. Our criticism was a legitimate criticism of who Boyce was, how the fund was set up. It didn't make any sense. It looked like a fraud. Jay Morrison wasn't somebody who has any expertise. He had his background. We made a whole, we talked about specific things. And Boyce mischaracterized that as just us having problems with capitalism. So if you say, well, I don't know why y'all looking at me, because the people who could have saved them money, we could have saved, I think we saved a lot of people money because Jay Morrison was trying to get $40 million, right? I think we saved a lot of people money, but we could have saved everybody money if you would have shut your milk dud head up. Like if you would have just been quiet and said, listen, I like Jay Morrison, he's my friend, but they have legitimate critiques and he's gonna have to answer to those critiques. That would have been it, because Jay Morrison could not have done it. This fund could not exist without Boyce Watkins defending him. Jay Morrison never had to defend himself. You had a PhD in finance defending him at every turn. So don't come out here now and say, well, let me tell you, I don't think, I really think that the problem is Yvette and Tone don't like, I don't know why y'all looking at me. I wasn't on the board. You defended this man at every turn. You mischaracterized us and said we were just negative naysayers and we were just trying to do something and tear down a black man. You told lies about me. You did all of that stuff just to save him. So yes, you are complicit, and I don't like people who do not take responsibility for their actions. Here we go again. Real estate expert Julian Gordon is joining us at the All Black National Convention, along with Jay Morrison and Stephanie DeBerry. If you want to understand real estate, these people are our leaders in the industry. You platformed him as a leader in the industry. This goes back years. This goes back years. Years of you platforming this man. And now you want to come and say, I'm just like y'all. I lost money too. Hey, y'all gonna have to go. If you feel it was wrong, you got to go file some kind of suit. What? Wait a minute. What? What's going on? Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me think. I gotta go do what? Wait, we just alike? You platform. He was at your convention as an expert. He was at the All Black Convention as if you want to if you want to understand real estate. You made him. I will go further than everybody saying you co-signed him. I say you made him. I don't think Jay Morrison exists without a black finance PhD at his side, being his what did JT Pocket Watch call him? His cheerleader. I don't think there is no Jay Morrison to create a fund without a Boyce Watkins to do all of this all of these years. It don't exist. I find it odd that people think Jay Morrison's Tulsa fund was fraudulent. 2021, Mr. Watkins. 2021, even though the SEC and FBI both did full investigations after all the online criticism and found absolutely no wrongdoing whatsoever. That's not exactly what happened. You will have to go see JT. He did a great takedown of it the other day. Go see him for that. But you could, gosh, I guess you. But you got to go see him for that. Right, go look at that video for that. I think it was yesterday or the day before. No, that's not what happened, boys. But I find it very odd that people think it's fraud. Every time people started questioning what's going on here, Boyce stood up. Listen, don't listen to them. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. Don't listen to Yvette. Don't trust, what's that? Don't trust them new Negroes over there. Just dodging, right? Just... Just dodging now. I don't know. We all lost money. I wasn't on the board. I don't know. You platform. You made this man. You made this man. You made this man. That's diabolical. That's diabolical right there. I'm live with Jay Morrison right now. This is 2020. I'm live with Jay Morrison right now. If you want to watch. Listen. Listen. Now all of a sudden, everybody, now we all the same, right? Now we all the same, right? Now they after Jay Morrison, we all the same. My goodness, ladies and gentlemen, my goodness. And I'm not trying to make light of what happened. I promise you I'm not. But I think we have to just tell the truth. I'm just gonna keep going. Like I said, we don't have to be here no long time. I just want to keep this. I just want to show you, because I was like, I don't think anybody's went over the whole timeline. Right? I don't think anybody's went over the whole timeline. Right? So that was my thing. Jay Morrison and Dr. Claude Anderson also fight for civil rights, but you and Tone attacked them. Dr. Claude Anderson's civil rights case started years ago. You didn't support that. You support Byron Allen, that pays the bills. Yeah, I think I had that one before. Right? Oh my goodness. Hold on a second, y'all. Oh. Let me bring up another one. Hold on a second. Okay, hold on. Jay Morrison and his significant other felt they were racially profiled at Houston's restaurant. Oh, Boyce, you tried to make the man into a civil rights activist. Haitian border crisis. Jay Morrison gives update. Why he got to give an update at the Haitian border crisis? What are y'all talking about? Like, how is this man now coming out saying, I don't know, we all lost money. I was never on the board. You made him Mr. Real Estate, the Haitian border. I wonder if, Ooh. Long before that was a real estate fund. Tonight in Centennial Park in Atlanta, this is 2023. We will do a pre-screening of our new film B1 the movie at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Joining me will be director Rick Mathis, D1, Blue Pill, Queen Afua, Jay Morrison, King Malachi, Madam President, and other cast members. You were putting them in movies in 2023? That's what we were doing? We were putting them in movies in 2023? You put him in a movie and you're like, I don't know why y'all blame me. I don't know why everybody's at me. I don't know why you had the man at your convention. You were putting him in you putting him in movies. You was calling him Mr. Real Estate. You was doing business with. What are we talking about? Listen, you should never want to be around somebody who can't be held accountable. I don't care who that person is. Don't have anybody in your life who cannot be held accountable. You made this man. You single-handedly made this man into an expert. We're gonna go through this. We're gonna go through this quick. This is a little bit of light work. I just want to make sure. Morrison dropping knowledge on the kids in Baltimore. What is he talking about? Why y'all blaming me? I don't know why Yvette and them and they got pocket watching with JT out there now, and I don't know why anybody is blaming me. I hadn't even did a video this time around, and he was, well, I tell you who I don't like, Yvette. I messed up my entire arm, boy. I don't know how I did it. Jay Morrison and I are hosting a special free event on how to obtain the capital you need to invest and grow a company. This event is called Secrets of the 1%, and it takes place on November the 23rd at 6 p.m. Register here. Y'all were doing business together. Jay Morrison, CEO and founder of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, is going to be visiting the Black Business School. I told you that. Secrets of the 1%. Oh, yeah. So even when people were starting to question it, when Jay was spending all that money on marketing and all that stuff, when he was doing all of that, Boyce was still platforming him. Boyce was still saying, I don't know why these negative naysayers, he came up with that. These negative naysayers, I don't know why they be going in at me. I don't know why they be talking about me. They don't know, they just don't have no money and they not capitalists. He was giving people a reason not to question what they were seeing. He was giving them a reason not to be critical. And he bears responsibility for that. He don't want to take responsibility, though. He's like a child. Jay Morrison giving the secrets of real estate and wealth right now on my Instagram page, the real Boyce Watkins. Child, how do you do this over years? Years, I tell you, years. This starts in 2014. You've got to hear this. We live now. How do you do this? Tell me, because I don't understand. How do you do this for 10 years? You platform somebody with an extremely sketchy past and no expertise. You have not seen their books. You do not know their credibility. You have not seen any properties this person owns, and you're calling them Mr. Real Estate. How do you do this? And then when people lose money with that person, after you defended the person against people who were trying to warn them not to give the money, how do you then say, what y'all looking at me for? I just think all y'all stupid. Y'all don't do due diligence. You're supposed to really research and figure this stuff out. They didn't research because they trusted you. And that was their biggest mistake. If nobody takes anything else away from this, understand, and I don't take credit for much, but I was right. I was right. You cannot trust this person. Makes up all kinds of stories. This person was not to be trusted. Well, Yvette's just negative. Yvette's just, Yvette hates black men. No, boys, you got way more feminine energy than I think you got more than me, boys. You got way more. Listen, that's you who is always in your emotions. That's not me. I'm not over here being negative. I'm happy. I'm not doing that. That's you who always wish you could be Jay Morrison. You wish you could be somebody. You wish you could be Mark Lamont Hill. You was always jealous of these other men. So that's you. That's not me. I don't have that in me. You have that in you, that little petty jealousy thing. That's not me. That's you. Let's get all the way through this. Mr. Real Estate. He's coming to Pittsburgh. Lord, look, fam, I'm telling you, this goes back 10 years. Watch, he gonna go delete him now. He gonna go delete him now. He gonna go, oh, yeah, Yvette done took that stuff down there. That dirty wench. She done went and took all my tweet down and research. Whew. Oh. It's called Beat the Trap 101 Stocks. Wait a minute, Jay Morrison and I put together something. Y'all was doing business together. Oh, but you didn't. I don't know why y'all was doing business together for 10 years, boys. That's why they trusted him. Jay Morrison and I put together something you might enjoy. It's called Beat the Trap 101 Stocks versus Real Estate. Woo, beat the trap. Child. This is 2014. Remember that Young Jesus scam? Whatever it was, allegedly. Remember, that's what I hear. But I think Young Jeezy donates $1 million to Jay Morrison, and that he was needing good press because he reportedly got caught with some guns. Boyce, that was 2014. Boyce was right there supporting it. You supported this man, platformed this man for decades. And now you out here wondering why anybody is holding you responsible for any of it. While part of the reason nobody looked at it and said, wait a minute, where the money at and how's it being invested and where the property's at, is because this PhD was always, he's doing good things. That's a good man. You acted like Ernestine. That's a good man. That's a good man right there. That's a good man. I just made a business deal with Jay Morrison, 2016. I think that you're going to be impressed with what we came up with. I think Now, I didn't know Jay. He was just my friend. He was just my friend, y'all. I don't know nothing about his business. You just in 2016, you said you did business with him and we was gonna be impressed. What was that business that y'all did? If you've been listen, if people trust you as a finance PhD and you say you have been doing business with somebody for back in 2016, and you've been doing business with for a decade. If they trust you, they're going to trust that person. So yes, you're responsible. Yes, you have to take responsibility. Yeah, Ernestine. Yeah, you got to take responsibility for what you did. Who you platformed. Who you elevated. And you didn't just elevate him one time. Like, it's not even like this person came to one thing he had. He was like, I didn't know. I thought he was cool. A decade, boys. A decade with this man. A decade doing business, platforming him, a decade, and you coming around and telling Negroes after everything goes belly up that, hey, I don't know why y'all see what the problem is. He thinks we're all stupid. The problem is y'all just didn't do your due diligence. No, the problem is everybody trusted you and they shouldn't have. Nobody should trust you. I tried to say it. Oh, here he go again. The hilarious thing, while we were trying to tell people, this is 2023, this man is still talking trash. While we were trying to tell people this is, you just money's not coming back. The hilarious thing about the public obsession, and it wasn't an obsession, it was a criticism, and we were right. The hilarious thing about the public obsession with the Tulsa Real Estate Fund is that we will have black people spend their entire lives obsessing over a black man who made a couple of $1 million while simultaneously ignoring thousands of white men who have earned billions of dollars from the black community. No, we're not obsessing, and we hold everybody accountable. If there was a white company that took a bunch of our dollars, we should hold them accountable too. I don't know why he always brings up Popeyes, because he must be half crazy. Nobody, why y'all wonder what Popeyes do with your money? Listen, most of us are not invested in Popeyes, and to the extent that we get food from Popeyes, if you go to Popeyes right now and order a two-piece breast and wing meal with red beans and rice and dirty rice and a biscuit and honey, they are going to give you that. You are going to get your chicken meal. That is not being cheated. You made a choice to go there and buy that meal, and that place is going to give you that meal. They have not cheated nobody out of no money. You can go look at the Popeye stock. I don't know. Listen, at this point, I don't know whether Boyce crazy or he think we crazy. I think it's a little bit of both. I think his elevator is right about here, and he thinks that everybody is below him. The sense of superiority that this man has. After you finish obsessing over a black man, I'll be curious to see if you are brave enough to stand up to white folks who are actually extracting incredible amounts of money from the black community. That's not theft. We understand, and listen, the whole reparations push is because we understand that we don't have access to capital, the engines that create wealth, the banks, all of that stuff, we haven't had access to that. That is not about Popeyes. That is not about none of what he's talking about. But of course, professional trolls are going to deflect away from this critique. It's easier to just sit back and be jealous. I am jealous of no one. But see, that's what he said. He made this about everybody who is being critical of Jay Morrison being a hater. You just a hater. You just a hater. You mad you ain't got what we got. You just mad. Yvette just mad she ain't got. No, I'm trying to save my people from something. I'm not mad at nobody. If this fund had been on the up and up, I would have been all for it, to the extent that you have the money to do it. If this was a team of actual, ADOS investors who had a whole history, they got a good background, they have a history of success in real estate or whatever, knock yourself out. That's not what this was. That's not what this was. And so a lot of people didn't take us seriously way back then because Boyce kept saying we were trolls, we were negative naysayers. This is in 2023. That money is being dragged out of that fund and he's still talking trash. He's still talking trash, talking about how we're just negative and jealous. And now he's like, I don't know why y'all blaming me. I invested too. No, you defended this man. Jay didn't even have to defend himself a lot because of this man. The thing is, if Boyce hadn't been defending him, Jay would have had to come out and defend himself every time. I don't think he would have been successful at that. Remember that time he came out with a bunch of pictures? Talking about, we still got the black house. Look at this thing. This thing is beautiful. We almost finished, fam. I'm just going through the Twitter because I didn't know. Prediction. Now that Jay Morrison has pulled off a big win with his Tulsa fund, some less fortunate Negroes will attack his business. See, he framed it as everybody who attacked Jay Morrison. That was the framing. Everybody who attacked Jay Morrison is just less fortunate, poor haters. And people believed in Boyce. They didn't take us seriously. And if he had just sat back and let us make our critique, right, this would not have been a problem. But he defended Jay Morrison. He talked about us like dogs and said that, hey, the reason that they're doing this is because they're just jealous. They're just haters. And so people didn't know who to believe. Now they know. Now many people start investing without knowing that investing involves risk. You may not get all your money back. Also, be sure to read contracts carefully. If the investment has a lockup period, like the Tulsa fund, for example, this gives the fund time to grow. So if in 2020 he was telling you that the lockup fund was boys don't know. Listen, boys don't know nothing about nothing. I have never seen somebody like, you don't know. He don't read books. He told me he don't read books. He told me, I was like, boy, you don't read. I don't read books. I don't have time to read. That was that was so many things that were the beginning of the end. I don't have time to read. Woo. And somebody got him good. I don't work for the fund. The person said, I've never defended, promoted the J. Morrison Fund to other black people. Have you? I got called a scam years ago and you still protect it. Scam. Yeah, that's what happened. And, I'm gonna give y'all a few minutes to call in if you want to. But, I think Boyce should be finished. Right? He never answered our allegations about the fund, about the paperwork. He never went in there and answered any of that. He's not a serious person. A serious PhD comes in and says, you know what? Let me look at this. Now he started looking at some stuff negatively after it was over with, and pocket watching with JT. He went into some of that. Oh well, look, I do see some problems here after the fact. After the money gone, you see some problems. When we were talking about it, you didn't see no problems. See, another problem with Boyce is that he's lazy. He won't do deep learning. He'll do like some, he'll stay up all day and make quick videos. Let me talk about Lizzo. Let me talk about this thing that just came out. Let me talk about women. Let me talk about what the algorithm doing. He'll do that stuff all day. So quick hit stuff to get 400 of 1,000 views, he'll do that all day. But deep stuff that will help him actually learn finance and invest, he's not going to do that. And he's certainly not going to do it for you. He might do it for himself. He might look up stuff for himself. For you, nah, he's just gonna big up his mans. They make money together. We break bread together. He ain't thinking about you. And you can't be thinking about somebody who ain't thinking about you. You can't be standing up with nobody who ain't standing up for you. And that's not who Boyce is. He just doesn't have it. Jay never should have been given a chance. He never should have been given a chance. And I think as I close out this, I want to say, the person who should have called out Jay should have been Boyce. You are the guy who should have been able to look at this and say, listen, brother, you don't have the background for this. You don't have whatever for this. But Boyce has this desire to be accepted and loved by popular ADOS men. He has this desire. He has this internal thing. I don't know what happened to him as a kid. I don't know whether he was kicked. I don't know whether he was beaten on. I don't know whether he was made fun of. He ate his lunch by himself. I don't know. But he has this thing. And it's a problem. And that's somebody he also made money with. They did events. And don't tell her how much those little classes they did together made. All of that comes over and above you. And that's a problem. Fam, that's a problem. And that's really all I want to say. I just wanted to go down the timeline because I'll leave you with what I said. I don't think this is a case of Boyce co-signing somebody. I think this is the case of Boyce creating somebody. Over a decade, those tweets, if you look at them, went from 2014 to 2024, right? You have a decade of platforming somebody that the community might have crucified him if he had come in by himself one day and said, I'm going to do something. But he had 10 years of creating legitimacy with Dr. Boyce Watkins. He was going to tell you 10,000 times doing one video, I got a finance degree. Did you know I know finance. Let me tell you something. I don't spend time on here talking about I got a political science degree because if you can't tell that by the work I do and the analysis I do, something is wrong with my degree. If you have to go around and tell everybody that you have a finance degree, then that means that your work does not speak for you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a problem. But anyway, give me a second. I'll go to break and I'll set up the phones if you want to call in. The timeline is a timeline. People, ain't nothing you can do about it. Like what did Bernie Mac say? The timeline is a timeline. I feel the way, listen to you. I feel the way about Boyce that Kendrick Lamar feel about Drake. I hate the way you walk. I hate the way you. Anyway, man. Let me stop. Give me a few minutes, set this up, and I'll be back, and we can if you so choose, have the conversation. All right, fam. All right, we are back. We are back. I'm back without the microphone, child. Anyway, going to my first caller. Going to 323. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello, how you doing, Yvette?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. I'm a big fan of the show.
Thank you.
So, all right, there's a couple things, okay? It has to start off with Boyce because, backsliding Boyce and his own accountability is at all times high. I remember you said every time he does a video, he makes things worse. And it's really the last couple of videos he put up, he's always throwing shots at you.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I saw one of your videos. I think really one of the maybe last video you probably really done about him.
Mm-hmm.
It was about, and this makes me upset, and I'm gonna keep it so everybody else can talk. But I remember you were like, you showed the receipts of him laughing and joking about, ha ha ha, you know, look at, we just got 10,000 views on this Farrakhan. And then his last video he did, he's talking about, like, so he's crazy.
Yeah, he went right back to the lie. Like I proved it was a lie. Just like he always says, Yvette reached out to me and asked me to share articles. I didn't reach out to Boyce. One day he's gonna make me go all the way back through Facebook, and I don't really want to. I don't have time. I have other stuff to do. And to the beginning of our Facebook conversation where he reached out to me and said, I read your stuff. I really like it. So like there was no me like the I don't trust liars. A liar will steal. There's nothing that a liar won't do. And so yeah, he just reverts back to the same old lie. Like if I say it enough, Yvette's receipts won't matter at all.
Yeah, no, it's so I really give him. I have no respect for him. And then on top of that, you know, if you noticed on all of Jay Morrison's social media, he's gone quiet. You know, he doesn't say anything. He, you know, he did his credit to cash video, and you know, because I'm not an investor, but I really did support the fund. You know, telling my friends about it, and I went on his credit to cash show a couple weeks ago, and I was like, hey, Jay, why don't you, you know, talk to the Tulsa investors the way you talk to these people once a week? You give these free webinars to get people on to, so he blocked me and all that kind of stuff. And, yeah, I did that. And then after that, he don't have him no more. And so, you know, but his wife, she's doing, if you look on her Instagram, she's doing an acting class coming up, and it's going to be at the Tulsa's the Legacy Center. And guess how much this class costs?
How much?
$1,500 for 2 days.
And wait a minute. Hold on, fam. Hold on. We're not even talking about Angela Bassett here. We're talking about somebody who's done at most D-level acting work.
For real. But she's teaching people how to do it. I want to know is the investor getting a piece of that? Is she booking out the? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you know, my thing is, I don't even understand. Like, sometimes you might sue and you might lose. I don't even understand why they haven't. Like, I guess I guess the way that, you know, that way that the contract was so tied up, and it was so tied up to him, it was bad. Like Antonio told everybody, like, this is bad paperwork. You don't want to have everything tied to this man. Oh, this is. It's
arbitration. You know, he did that.
That's true. I remember that. You're right. I forgot about that. He said you can't sue. And I remember saying that. He said y'all have to go to arbitration. And so Boyce comes in and says y'all should sue. You should take it to court. You should take it to court. This is what Boyce says. And there's a clause in there that says if you have an issue, you have to go to arbitration. And wait a minute. Arbitration was in like Delaware or somewhere. So you can't even go to arbitration in Atlanta.
Yes. So but the reason why it's in Delaware is because Delaware has the most strict arbitration laws that support LLCs. So basically, it's smart to have it in Delaware because Delaware has like, you know, it's in the bylaws. That's what it says. Thrown out.
Ooh.
So he did that on purpose.
Yeah, he did that on purpose to screw his own people. Come on, man, that's awful. That's some awful stuff right there. Woo! I appreciate you, fam. Thank you. What you say?
You appreciate you, and you know, keep up the great work. I really love your shows, and stay on his neck. Please stay on his neck.
I mean, I've done everything I can. I moved on to movement work. This is probably gonna be my last time talking about it. But I really wanted to go down that Twitter timeline because Boyce has been running around here saying it's not my fault. I didn't do nothing, and I want to go around because part of what has to happen is that we have to develop a culture of accountability. Thank you, fam. I appreciate you for calling in. Though I'm gonna get to some other callers, but part of the thing that has to happen, we have to develop a culture of accountability because we need that in our politics as well. Like when you talk about Congress people, when you talk about your local legislators, when you talk about, you need to develop a habit, a muscle where you hold people accountable. Me too. Like if I start wavering or start doing, you have to hold me, anybody else accountable. So like you have to develop that though and get used to that as opposed to being talked out of holding people accountable out of, well, we all black, we can't tear each other down. Holding somebody accountable is not tearing them down. That's not the same thing. 862, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Good evening, Yvette.
Hey.
This Boyce Watkins, this Jonathan Edwards from Asheboro, North Carolina. This Boyce Watkins thing has got to stop. I mean, it just... I'm a frequent listener. I've had a few conversations with you, and we've talked about Boyce a couple of times. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we talking about this guy again? Jesus. Well, for one, you got the 3 Ps. You got the pimp, you got the peddler, and you got the PhD.
Oh!
Okay, the pimp, the peddler, and the PhD. Boyce at his highest in his social life, his biggest achievement was when he proposed to his wife and she accepted. Even though she didn't look like she really wanted to accept that. You know, the ring at the time. I don't know these people. I just saw what I saw. She kind of recoiled when he dropped to one knee. But, that being said, Boyce has always struggled with his popularity. He attaches himself to people so that he can be more and more popular. Then, that didn't work. He tried to go out and do all of this advocacy work. That's when he was involved, when he had you involved. And he said, okay, I'm going to put myself with someone who knows what they're doing. And then when you really tried to do the work, that became a problem. Because Boyce doesn't want to work. He just wants to sell flashcards.
He wants to talk.
He wants to sell a course, or he wants to, the quick hit for the cash
make the money.
that he never got because his PhD may as well be toilet paper. Because no one seeks Boyce Watkins for financial advice. I mean, we see Sandy Darity, we see a litany of other high-level thinkers that people go to when they want to put together studies, they want to find out information about finance.
Hold on a second. I don't think Boyce has ever been published, to my knowledge. Like PhDs are supposed to publish in journals and books.
How can you be published if you don't read?
yeah, that's true. I'm sorry. Yeah. You're right.
I mean, one of the things they're going to help you to be a better writer is to be well-read. If you don't read, then you don't even know how to formulate a book. So that's why he hasn't been published. He hasn't done any work. What he did is he established, he got that PhD. He did the work to get that, and he thought he was going to be able to use that and take it back to the poor people and traffic in it. He never really tried to do anything in finance. I mean, if the first company that you go to doesn't hire you as, an analyst, then you go to another company and you take an internship, or you go to another company and you keep going and you keep going. How do I know this? I have a son that is a forensic accountant. He didn't start there. You know what I'm saying? He didn't start as a forensic accountant flying all over the world going through people's books. It's not how he started. He started as a low-level intern, and he worked him way up. Boyce wants to skip steps.
Well, and I'll tell you something. And hold on right there. I'll tell you what allowed Boyce to skip steps, because people will be like, "Well, how did he get this far?" I will tell you what allowed Boyce to skip steps. One of the good moments that Boyce had was before everybody else, or before most ADOS, and even the rest of black people, and a lot of white people. Boyce was an early adopter. That's the thing that got him here. Boyce was on YouTube early. He was on Facebook early. He was on all of those things early, making content, right? And that is like the thing. If you're trying to wonder, well, what is the thing? The thing is he is an early adopter, and that got him first. And the benefits that he has now is from him getting here first. I'm sorry, fam. Go on.
Right, he rushed it. No, he definitely rushed the room with the social media. But the other thing that got him was he grew up, like most of us, in the black church. Mm-hmm. Right? So what he did is he wrapped himself in blackness and repositioned himself as this black boy done well.
Mm-hmm.
So that everybody's mama, auntie, grandma will go, oh, look at Boyce. He did well. He got a PhD, child. You got to understand that, what is it, 25% of black men even go to college?
Yeah.
So then when you get a black man to return to you, all wrapped in the dashiki, talking about I'm a PhD in finance, you exalt him. And that's how Jay Morrison said, I can get a bag with this guy because I got the charisma to be a preacher style and come out and preach just like the pimp. The pimp and the peddler do the same thing. It's a confidence thing.
Mm.
I'm able to talk to people. I'm a mover and a shaker. I'm swaggy, rich. I do this in real life.
Mm.
But then I got this guy, the little short, fat one, that's got the credential to back up what I'm peddling.
Mm.
And then if that doesn't work, then I can always double down on the blackness again and go with the pimp and tell you that y'all are assassinating my character because I'm into economics and I'm pro-black and I can put a bunch of studies and stuff that I didn't do on my page and say this is why we're failing, but you don't do any background research to vet any of this information. You may as well be Fox News or some of these white reporters out here. Mm. How many times has Boyce attacked the black community and then come back and said, I have to answer by my flashcards?
Yeah, well, he always says the problem is us, right? Every time something happens, well, I see y'all don't know enough to invest. And every time, you ever notice every time he's making fun of all ADOS people or every time he's making fun of us, have you ever noticed how he makes fun of us? It's very stereotypical. Like, I will make fun of a specific person that way, but every time he's making fun of the people who make his life possible, it's always very condescending and demeaning. Sometimes you just got to realize when somebody don't love us for real.
But that comes from being picked on and bullied in life. So you reflecting back to us what happened to you in your early life. So those guys that talk like that are the guys that bullied you. Those are the guys that picked on you when you were the little corny nerd. Mm. So now, of course, that's the way you see us. Mm. You got to understand, Boyce doesn't see himself as a part of the community. He sees himself as a escaped Negro. Mm. I got out of it because I got a PhD. So I'm not like the guys that's standing on the corner with their pants down talking that, this and that, and this and that. But then he wants to associate with them because he always wanted to be them. So he wants to be around the rappers. He wants to be around the pimps. He wants to be around the peddlers. Mm. He has an affinity for them. Mm. He has an affinity for them. Like, I can't be that. Like, do you ever see Boyce when he's talking all this stuff about how he was getting in shape? He just as fat now as he ever was.
He did for a while. I think he putting it back on. But he did for a while, and he got off the weight, and he started making fun of Lizzo, and then started backtracking. I don't know.
Right,
that's why you don't make fun of people.
Like his before picture looks the same as now.
Same as now, yeah.
But that's because he never had that physical fitness discipline. Yvette, you're a runner. I know this because you're always running. Mm-hmm. You have the discipline. Even if you don't feel well, even if it's raining, even if it's hot, you get up and you put your miles in.
Yeah, unless it's lightning, I'm outside.
Right? I myself, I'm a runner too. I ran all my life. I still run. You get up, you do. I was in the military. It helped me a great deal to be a runner when I got there. It is what it is. You got to have that discipline. Boyce has never had that discipline. Mm. The one thing that he's had, and then I'm going to let you go, is he's had this I'll show them mentality. Mm. So even when Jay Morrison, they went and they investigated and they didn't find this or whatever the investigation said, he wanted to come back and point to the people that were saying, this is a bad fund. See, I told you this was good. See, I told you. Mm. Now listen to me, because I am better than all of these other Negroes that are telling you this stuff. Mm.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. You're right. That's some psychological stuff. You got to monitor your psychology. You're right. I appreciate that. Woo.
And you represent the one thing that he can't stand the most.
What? What I did?
Somebody who actually used their degree.
Don't make me cough, man.
You and Antonio represented him what he was unable to do. Antonio's a lawyer in real life.
In real life, yeah.
In real life, right? Tone is doing cases before he come on YouTube. He in real life doing cases. Yvette was a real life, on the Hill, political science major. I don't know what your title was there, but you was on the Hill.
Yeah.
JT Tiger Watcher, a real financial guy, using his degree. Right? He can't stand that. That drives him up the wall.
Well, I think he thinks
and
because
female. That's
true. But I think too we were able to get jobs. Like right now, I'm doing the foundation and I YouTube Patreon, but like I have worked in my field. Like Boyce has never really worked in his field, and I think that grates at him. That like nobody would hire you in your field, and sometimes if nobody hires you in your field, you got to look at yourself like, what was wrong with me going into these interviews and like how I answer question, how I present it? Everybody ain't wrong. Everybody ain't wrong.
And Yvette, here's the other thing. Though you have chosen not to follow that path, you could start today and go right back.
Yeah.
There's going to be a few hiccups because of what you've done with ADOS and a few feathers you may have ruffled by, bringing some of these people's, dirt to light. But you can go back.
Yeah, I can do that.
Qualified.
Absolutely.
You have the resume.
Absolutely.
You can go back and make money. You don't have to fall on this sword if you don't want to.
No, I'm not relegated. I'm not relegated to be here. No, I know I could pick. I'm actually leaving money on the table by actually doing this as opposed to like doing something else, doing another form of advocacy. Yeah, I can go back. I know that.
And that's one of the things that why people are so attracted to you and Tone. Tone can shut up. He's a lawyer.
Yeah, he can just go live his life.
And just go be a lawyer. And he'll be fine. I mean, the man lives in Los Angeles. That ain't cheap.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So if Antonio Moore decided today that he wanted to move to Atlanta or North Carolina or Washington, D.C., he could do that, shut up, and make big money.
And oh my gosh, you know what you get here versus what he pays there? Woo!
Yes, exactly. What he's earning now, he would be able to have 10 times more by just moving eastward.
Yep, you're right.
He ain't even got to come all the way to the East Coast. He could stop in St. Louis. He could stop in Kansas City and open up a practice.
And live a lavish life. Live a very nice life. Yeah, live a very nice lifestyle. No, you're right, fam. I appreciate you. You're right.
So we recognize that and we appreciate that. But for you, and Tone to do what you do, it's not something that we are not aware of. And for people that are not aware of it, they are now.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think it was Dr. Hamilton who called in one time and said, never trust people who are around black people because they gotta be. Like they didn't choose to, they just got relegated there. And I think we can end it there. I appreciate you, fam. Thank you so much for calling in.
YouTube is the last stop for Boyce Watkins.
Yeah.
Last stop.
Not what he wanted to be.
What are you going to do after this goes?
Yeah. We're going to see. I appreciate you, fam. That was a great call. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're going to see. We're going to see because it's time to hold people accountable. People got to go do something. Do something else. 618, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Yvette.
Hey.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I am doing well. So I have been cracking up, and I wrote on your Instagram post that you know that Boyce is not doing well, that he has went to the lowest of lows because he is now a commentator, a feature commentary on Tasha K. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it, but because I guess he has a lot going on with the legal issues and different things like that, she's not able to be on her platform that much. So she's opened it up to the YouTube bloggers to do the same type of commentary that she does. So now Boyce has went so low as to go on Tasha K to commentate on stuff like Ashanti's pregnancy with Nelly. He has commented, they comment on Doja Cat, and it's just so funny to me that this finance professor, this PhD professor, has went on that show and is featured with other bloggers that talk about just goofy stuff. I ran across it one day because his name still pops up when I want to see like how badly he's doing.
Yeah.
And so his name popped up on there. His name popped on. My mouth dropped. I was like, I know this dude is not on here talking about Doja Cat, like with two other bloggers. Like, you have hit the ground, but buddy, there is no coming up. So at this point, it's time to hang it up. And then I'm scrolling on TikTok one night, and you know you're on one live. Once that live ends, like abruptly, it goes to another live. He is now on TikTok he was trying 2 days ago to explain this whole situation. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's all these other people. And I don't even know if you guys over here know TikTok. I don't know if you guys know any Yvette and Antonio. I don't even know. They're probably irrelevant over here. But yeah, they're over there talking bad about me because I talked about Jay Morrison. And, you know, all I said was blah, blah, blah. I'm like, come on. You just going to keep going from platform to platform, just lying. Like, just give it up. Like, go just sit quietly. Like,
but you know what? You know what? He would have. But you know what? I think people should have been done with him regardless. But I honestly think if he had come out and said, I really messed up. I let my friendship get in the way of my due diligence. People would have. I don't think they should have, but I think a lot of people would have given him a pass and said, and I still think this man has cost you a bunch of money. He don't get to do that. But I still think we're so forgiving sometimes that people still would have get, he cannot do accountability to save his life. Even, I really feel like the main reason that Boyce is mad with me is because I left, right? But like, I'm making money for you when I could be making money for myself. Like, you're not giving me anything. I don't have enough to live. And right, we're supposed to be doing this project. And the way we started out was we were both critical of Obama. And I realized that you're just conservative. You don't like Obama because you're conservative. It's not because you really have a political critique. But that's what it was. It's just the fact that, like, okay, my money left me. But yeah, I have to eat myself. I can't stay over there with you. I'm cannibalizing my own channel. Right, by being over here with you and getting views, and they go to your pocket as opposed to, like, I have to live and I need to buy groceries. You know what I mean? But like, he's mad about that. This is a decade of him being mad about that.
Right, and it's so crazy because, like, he's on TikTok and he's just like babbling, and people are like, you know, TikTok is a different ball game. It's nothing like YouTube. It's nothing like Facebook. It's nothing like Instagram. People are on there like, who is Jay Morrison? And then other people are like, I'm not giving nobody my money. Like, so I guess he thought that if he went over there, he only had like 60 people in his live because nobody started looking at him over there. But it was just so funny. He was like calling you guys' name, like, yeah, and they think I'm just not smart. And, you know, I only want the intelligent people on my live. If you're intelligent, you could be on my live. I'm like, now how do you equate intelligence to what you're talking about right now? Furthermore, who's about to listen to somebody who's now giving commentary about Ashanti and Nelly's new love or whatever? Like,
nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. And but that's how
it literally makes no sense. And go ahead.
No, I was just saying he throws everything together. I remember one time Boyce told me you should write a book, and I said, well, Boyce, I don't really have time to write a book. You know, with everything we have going on, everything I have going on. He said, well, you should do what I do. He said, I write articles and then I just throw them in the book. And I said, like, I don't want to do that. Like, that's the, I feel like I'd be cheating people. Like, if I don't come up with any new thoughts. Like, even people who do essays and put a book of essays, a lot of those essays are new essays. They aren't all old essays that you just put together in a book. And I you know, I was just like, it's just like, dude, it's just, what are you doing? I don't know what are you doing at TikTok.
Right. And then my last point, and then I'm going to go, is Miss Ernestine. Let's just talk about Miss Thing real quick. So, it's been people, you know, that know about you guys, that know about JT the Pocket Watcher, that have went on her Instagram and was like, are you going to address this Tulsa real estate because your husband is not? Because, you know, she's still posting. And so she, you know, I'm nosy. So she's replying on that. So what would I have to say? Like, this is my post and this is about actors. Do you want to be an actor or not? First of all, man, you got a whole podcast now. You got a whole podcast where you talking about love and relationships outside of acting. You talking about love and relationships. So you mean to tell me you married a man that basically screwed a whole bunch of middle class poor black people, low middle class poor black people out of their money, and you mean to tell me you can't address it, but you want to talk about love and relationships? So when you're talking about love and relationships, and it gets to the finance part, you're gonna be quiet, right? Because you have nothing to say about that. There's no commentary that you can give on that. The audacity of you to think
she said the audacity
about to listen to you about being in a loving marriage, and your husband is out here robbing the heck out of people, and then when people try to get you to address it, you're going to say, well, I only do the actor part. No, ma'am, you was on every video. You was on every promo. You had a position in the company. Now, how dare you sit there when somebody tries to hold you accountable with your husband? Now you want to go, well, I'm just an actress. That's what I do. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That's not fair. That's not fair. I don't think that's right at all. So that's all I wanted to say. It's just, them two, like all three of them together combined, mess, a hot mess. And I hope that people finally realize that we have to do our due diligence.
Yeah.
We really have to listen to the people that you may not see as big, that don't have the 300,000, 400,000 people on there as their followers. It doesn't mean that they're not right.
Yeah,
you know,
and you just have to.
I would have to say about the whole thing.
I appreciate it.
So let me call it.
Thank you, fam. I appreciate it, and I think thank you for calling in. And I think what you have to do is just listen to what we say, and see if it makes sense. And then that person, if he wanted to defend Jay Morrison, he has to have a retort, right? He has to be able to say, "This is why Yvette is right or wrong." You just can't. Y'all, too many people who invested in the fund let him just call us naysayers and beggars or whatever. You just name calling right now. You haven't addressed the crux of the issue. 601, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Good evening, Yvette.
Hey.
It's really been a wonderful show. Thank you so much for all that you do. You really pour a lot of energy into. Can you hear me pretty good?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. Thank you. I appreciate you.
So you really pour a lot of energy into trying to wake us up and make us into a serious people, which is something we lost a long time ago. We're not a serious people. So I do want you to know you are fighting an uphill battle.
Thank you.
Lord knows you are, you know. So what I wanted to comment and say is, you know, we are people who has become everybody's target. There's never been a time we haven't been the target of choice for everybody to leech and bleed us completely dry. And it's time out for our politicians who look like us. And from what I understand, at this point in the game, insofar as black politics is concerned, we have increased black politicians in America at a 9,000% rate. Okay? These are some of the most wicked people. This is where people like Boyce get it from. If you really think about it. The example is the way the black politician handles us. They force us to respect them. They believe that you're supposed to be nice to them, even though you're starving them to death, even though you're depriving them of clean water. They believe that you're supposed to respect them, even if you're, you know, letting companies come into our communities and raise our water bills up where we can't afford water, like the people over in the neighboring city that I live close to called Jackson, Mississippi. Okay? You know, it's you said it earlier. You know, basically the arrogance, the lack of accountability, and those types of things are killing us. And if we, the the populace don't get our acts together and start being a serious people, now we can get together and plan a party. I said this on the radio every chance I get locally. We can plan a party. It takes time and money and effort to put some of these things together we put together. We can throw the best wedding on God's green earth. It takes time for that. But we can't put a plan together to make these politicians accountable. We need to develop a task force.
I got you, fam. I don't want to go too deep into that. But I agree with your sentiment. And I think we have to develop all the way around. I call it mechanisms of accountability, right? And we have to get beyond. You might not like Yvette. That's perfectly fine. But I think if I'm talking about an issue, give me an ear, right? You can not like somebody, but say, hey, I want to hear what they have to say. And then I want to use my mind, and I want to go to hit the other side of it, and I'll figure it out. I think that's part of it, that you have to start there. But I agree with you. I got to get through this. I'm going to try to get through a couple more calls, but I absolutely agree with the sentiment of what you're saying.
Can I wrap up by saying one other thing?
Sure, go right ahead.
I was with an organization called NOTEC, and the same thing happened to me and the people I recruited.
Mm-hmm.
So I really feel bad for the people who got suckered in to Jay Morrison and Boyce Watkins.
Well, it's an expensive lesson, and I feel bad too, because I think about what could have been done with that money. I think about in terms of, even when we talk about politics, in terms of people talk about lobbying and stuff all the time. You all just gave that man $12 million or whatever it was. You think about what we could do with that politically, right? So it's a lot of stuff that we could have done, and we just enriched one person, and we have a habit of doing that. But I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much, and thank you so much for calling in. I'm just trying to get through a couple of callers really quickly. I'm going now to, probably won't get to everybody, just so everybody knows. Going to 317. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hi, yeah. This is Cynthia. I'm calling from Indianapolis. I've
Hey.
called into this show before, and I've been a long-time listener.
Oh,
How you
thank
doing,
you.
Yvette?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Yeah, I don't want to say too much about Boyce that hasn't already been said. I mean, I feel like I've been snatched the cover off of everything, every scam and everything that he's tried to do, and we've seen it. What I want to say, though, is I appreciate what you and Tone have done as far as, kind of filling us in on the lie. They were trying to tell us and scam us early on, and if people paid attention, if they really stopped and listened, on its face, it just didn't make any sense. I think they wanted you to invest like $500 or something into that.
Yeah, that was the minimum. He wanted to raise $40 million. His goal was 40. I think enough people listened to us that he didn't get to 40, but he got way too much. But he wanted $40 million out of this community. You got to think about that. Jeez.
That's just so, and how is he not any worse than, they talk about white supremacy and everything. That's, to me, in my mind, when you do it to your own, you're worse, the worst. So just on his face, it just didn't make any sense. And, I just wanted to say thank you, because we don't give people their flowers.
Thank you.
They'll smell them and everything. And, I really appreciate, what you all do. And ADOS is the truth. ADOS is the realest game in town. They all know it, and that's why they hate. So
that's why they go at us. That's why they go at us. Well, I appreciate you. And we going to keep going at them. We're going to develop this culture of accountability. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. It's enough. It's enough of us around here.
We're going to have to hold ourselves accountable, hold each other, accountable, and hold those who always want something from us. Like the other caller said, we're the target. People are always coming to us, with the bullshit. Excuse me, but they are.
Mm-hmm.
And we just going to be like, hey, look, we're not, when you mess up, we're going to hold you to it. We're going to hold your feet to the fire. And that's just what it is.
You are not an exception. And I think we're so desperate. That's what they play into. Like a lot of us, and we're right to want to see ADOS men do well, but that can't blind you to what is in front of you. They will use that to put the blinders on. Oh, here comes an ADOS man. He's a PhD. That will put the blinders on. I'm going to buy his flashcards or whatever. Don't let that people depend on you not being able to see the con because you see the outside and you want to have faith and you want to see them do well. That we cannot do that. We cannot do that.
Absolutely. They trick you by what you don't know.
Yep.
They trick you with your own ignorance. And the thing of it is, you know, I'm widowed now, but I was a wife. I'm a mother of 3 sons. Why wouldn't I want black men to do well?
Mm-hmm.
That just doesn't even, you know, his argument, that counter argument, like, no, you just messed up and you got caught.
Yeah.
Deal with it. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, fam. I appreciate you. And I you know, right, appreciate you. Yep. And I think you can't, you know, you have to judge other people by who they are too. You can't let, well, Boyce gave a particular characterization of Yvette. She just hates on black men. It's like nobody has really distilled. I don't know if anybody has distilled the way in which we have put ADOS men in cages and not cared about them as much as I have. And I include Boyce in that. Boyce, you don't do no, you did a letter with Kim Kardashian years ago about mass incarceration. That's it. You don't have that on a political platform the way I do. You have not really broken that down the way I have. So how do you then come to that conclusion? If anybody was paying attention, they would say, no, I don't think that's what's going on here. People got to pay attention. Don't let these people just do these wild characterizations. 909, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Yvette, this is Alvin. I'm calling from San Bernardino, California.
Hey, Alvin.
This is the first time I've actually called in to it. Well, actually, the second time I've actually called into a show because I was compelled to just tell everybody who was listening. Boyce Watkins, he represents the worst of us.
Oof.
The absolute worst of us. He, came out with the Black Business School some years ago. I'm a single father. I was struggling at the time. You know, he was advertising the Black Business School, this, that, and the third, and was going to take us up out of slavery and everything else. And the first day I go down there and discover that I got to pay whatever absorbent fee he was asking for. And I realized at that moment, this dude is a straight up grifter. And I fell into real estate. I've learned a lot about real estate and alternative finance and things like that. Now, I do have an MBA in finance, but I tell people all the time, especially our people, the stuff that I learned in the MBA program was stuff that they teach you so that you can go out and sell products that the other side wants us to sell to our people. I said, if you get involved in real estate, you'll learn how to do things for ourselves and have total control over your finances. And I even got to the point of having a free weekly meeting where I was just offering, just sharing with people, brothers and sisters, and anybody that would want to join, just sharing my knowledge of the things that I learned. Didn't charge anybody a dime. That's probably why I'm still struggling right now. But the fact is, with that, so the fact is that I actually ended up, finding you and Tone and JT at the end of 22, just because I was doing some research to start my own podcast, to start figuring out how to share this information and get it out there and possibly make some money at the same time so I wouldn't go broke doing it. And, just as we were doing it and I was starting to grow and I realized I was talking to some brothers and sisters about Boyce Watkins because they were telling me about what a great dude he is. And I said, hold on a second.
Wait 1 second, please.
Right the guy is an expert at knowing how to phrase things in a way so that if you don't listen to him, you must be stupid. So when you refer to him as talking about, he's the type of dude that will thinks he's smarter than all other black people. That if you don't listen to what he's got to say, then you must be a dumb black person because you didn't get it from Boyce Watkins. Even the fact that he goes around saying, well, this is the program for intelligent black people. So
yeah, I ain't gonna y'all. The rest of y'all just stupid. If you don't agree with me, you dumb.
An intelligent black person. So we unfortunately, because we have such a desire to find leadership in our community, I think that's how people like him and Jay Morrison kind of sneak in the back door, and they say the right words. They know how to phrase things a certain way, and to the unsuspecting person, he can get you. And same with Jay Morrison, obviously. I didn't invest in anything that they had going on. Heck, I didn't even know about the Tulsa Real Estate Fund until you guys started talking about it last year, because I remember seeing a Jay Morrison video. He had this video out at the time back in 2017 when I first started going to real estate meetings. And the video was a real estate investor breaks it down in a black barbershop. Breaks it all down in a black barbershop. I'm thinking, what the heck is this? And I looked at that.
Kona classes, Kona.
It was, inspiring and everything. I didn't know nothing about him. So I went on to his website, because he was talking about, you go there, we got money, we got everything that the black man needs to get started in real estate. And since my credit is bad, and I knew that I couldn't borrow money here, there, and everywhere, I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and see what he's talking about, because he's talking about, heck, you don't need to have good credit to borrow from me, because this is black folks investing right here.
It's black business. We're going to do it together. You don't need none of that. No credit. White man's credit.
Yeah, exactly. So I went on ahead there anyway. Went on ahead and filled out the information. And then, of course, like I was expecting, the information came back. Oh, unfortunately, you're going to need to improve your credit. So we're going to put you in this class where you have to pay such and such amount to improve your credit. And then after that, then we'll ease you into the So I'm thinking to myself, well, this ain't no different than anybody else, what anybody else would be telling me. So why I need to mess with you? Oh, because you a black man and you gonna help me out.
Yeah, he gonna help you out.
At that point, I was done with Jay Morrison.
Help you out of your money. Help you out of all your money. I'm gonna help you out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He would have helped me out of way more than I thought. I'm sure of that. So that's why I never got involved in any of it. And then, like I said, I started listening to you and Tone at the end of 2022, and I was just it was almost like y'all were like a lighthouse in the middle of a dark ocean, because just the things that y'all were talking about, breaking everything down, and talking about ADOS and all of that. I'm a Gen Xer, and so it was refreshing to see that there were some brothers and sisters doing this, and so that's why I've been a staunch fan, if you will, of you and Tone ever since I found out about you. So I'm really glad to hear you guys going over this and pretty much keeping your foot on the necks of these people that are constantly trying to dupe our people into doing things that we shouldn't be doing. But obviously, there are plenty of grifters in other communities, but in our community, since we don't have the wealth to be able to handle the brunt of things like that, the weight of such catastrophic events happening with these investments. I mean, I swear to God, just I think to myself, man, if I had $11 million to invest with in the middle of one of the biggest investment opportunities.
Yeah, everybody was winning. He could have won.
Around COVID and everything that was going on, and I got family in Detroit, so I got full access to the Detroit.
But here's the thing.
I got money to do it.
But here's the thing. He was on.
This dude had 11 million.
But he was. Hold on. He was on. I remember. I have the screenshots of him being like, "We just bought this property," and now I don't know. Now there are no property. Like I'm wondering. Like I think those were just like. He just showed up on the construction site somewhere. Like, yes, you could have made. Yeah, you could have made. Everybody was making money. So if he wanted to make money during that moment, he could have. But all the money they paid to themselves for marketing, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, if they wanted to make money, actually do a fund, they could have done that. They just decided not to do it. That's what it looks like, allegedly. Don't mess with me.
Thing to do. I mean, I seriously, I really, honestly don't understand how it is that they. I mean, obviously with the paperwork and everything that you guys so brilliantly broke down. I mean, basically, if you read through everything, obviously Boyce didn't, because otherwise you wouldn't have been saying all that stuff on stage about how it's a solid plan, because from the get-go, he clearly stated that if things don't work out, hey, we get to legally take this money and run with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, why would you even say that if you plan on having things work out? Because normally, like you said at the beginning of the show, a regular fund manager is going to ride or die with the fund. It's either we all make money or we all lose.
Yep, and they're going to be in a position to be fired. Like you're going to be able. But Jay made himself everything. He gave himself all the positions, and he wrote it into there. So like it wasn't even a situation where like the board can fire him if he's not managing the fund well. No, he set it up that way. And so yeah, you're right. You're right. Yep.
Yeah. So it's just a shame, and so it just I go around shaking my head and. Part of it is because I got to admit, part of it is the jealousy that I feel deep down that this shiesty brother can go out and convince our people to give him $11 million, but I'm sitting over here with all this knowledge, broke as a joke because I ain't trying out there to grip people.
Yeah, well, I don't think you.
I gotta
yeah.
lie and I gotta go get me a fake house and I gotta go get me a fake car and do all that stuff.
It's hard doing the right thing, but you got to do it.
I know what I'm talking about.
I appreciate you, fam. I thank you so much for calling in. You were a great call. I understand. And listen. I understand that. I understand the cost of being a moral person in an immoral space. Right, I get that. So I totally understand what he's talking about. This is going to be my last call. I am going to 404. This is my last call. Here we go. 404, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Yvette, it's Renee. I'm calling from Atlanta.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. Happy Wednesday.
Thank you. Same to you. What's mosquitoes gonna eat me?
Something that I wanted to piggyback on that an earlier caller said about Boyce actually kind of getting ahead of the curve and people trusting him was he also was putting out videos when many of us did not understand our wealth positionality in this country. And I'm going to speak for myself. So I grew up following politics. I've worked in local government. I've collected taxes. I've worked in healthcare with some of the poorest of poor people in this city. And even I did not understand how horrible our wealth position was in this country. And even though I do not follow celebrity culture, I had no idea that, like, in real life, we will collapse if we don't get public policies like reparations and other things to make us a stable group.
Mm-hmm.
And so Boyce was putting out information that kind of feeds to, I think, a lot of black people's hope. You know, a lot of us really, like, we see ourselves making progress. We may know people who have made progress. And so collectively, we kind of, you know, we put ourselves with that progress, not really understanding that to compete in America, it's not okay for just me to succeed, but collectively, we have to be attached to wealth, to resources, to big Fortune 500 companies, to inheritance. And so Boyce came along at a time when that was not a conversation many of us were having.
Mm-hmm.
And you and Antonio actually brought that conversation to the limelight because I was even shocked. I mean, like I said, I've followed politics my whole life. So it reshaped how I even saw politics and our wealth positionality in this country in a way that I was just like, wait, what? Like, and so I think that was a leg up that both Boyce and Jay Morrison had.
Yeah, I agree.
Even when I went to Kenya, people see Black Americans dress well on TV, and I had to tell them, just because you see Black Americans dress well doesn't mean that there are not people back home that are suffering.
Yeah, most of us. It's just like, on TV we look like, and that's the problem that I have about what they call virtual integration. White people feel that we're doing well too, partly because of how they see us on TV, and we have jobs, and we have nice cars, and we have the same problems as them. Yeah, that's part of the problem. But you're right.
And I just think, if the conversation about wealth and what wealth is in real life in this country, if that conversation had come along much earlier, to me, a lot of people would have never bought into Boyce or Jay Morrison or the other people selling us on hope, on, hey, if you take this class, you know, you can do certain things, not understanding that. I just saw, I think Robert Reich posted something earlier this week saying that everybody who is connected to wealth all inherited their wealth. None of them worked
The
for
billionaires,
it.
yeah.
All of them inherited the wealth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's like every billionaire, every young billionaire now got it from their parents, something like that. I think I saw it too.
If white people can't compete and they're white and they get certain advantages, like I don't think a lot of black people still understand what type of competition we up against in this country. And I think it's also very scary to actually like process it. It's scary for a lot of people. And Boyce just took advantage of that in the same way Jay Morrison did.
Yeah, I agree. And just because it was so early, it was easy just to say they're negative, and people were just like, I don't have to engage. And in the same way, in a way, he engaged in the same kind of smear campaign that we have with mainstream media, where people would just say, oh my God, they're xenophobes, don't listen to them or whatever. He engaged in another, oh, I know Yvette, she's just negative and she's just had a bad time in life. Nobody had no bad time in life, boy. That's you. Like, all of this projection is unnecessary. So I think so people was like, oh, I don't have to go and check them out. I don't have to go and talk and look at Antonio or look at Yvette. Boyce has said that he knows them and they were on his channel or whatever, and I don't have to go and check it out. And I think sometimes you just got to check stuff out for yourself, right? You don't get to just listen and then take somebody. But I will end by saying this too. I hope we're at the end of that. I hope we're finished with this trust thing of these people of a person like Boyce, who has proven that he does not deserve our trust. He does not deserve your trust. He has not been a good steward of your trust. People who you trust should be a good steward of your trust. You are putting your trust in them, right? I hope that we're through with that. I'll let you have the last word, Cole.
Can I say one last thing?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing about trust is, so I've worked in community for a long time. I worked in local government, healthcare, and so a lot of people trust me with certain things. They ask me my advice on certain things. Trust goes a long way, and so does having people around you who work ethically. If somebody is protecting somebody who operates unethically, I'm sorry, I don't know how you trust anything they say or do.
I agree. I thank you, caller. I appreciate you. And I don't. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying thank you. Have a good night.
Oh, thank you too. I appreciate you. Have a good night. Yeah, that trust should matter. Like, I say it all the time. Integrity actually matters. It's something that should matter to everybody. Integrity should matter, and track records matter, right? The reason I put up those videos the clips of those videos from 2018 of me talking about Boyce, and I've talked about him earlier, is because I have a track record, right? I want to share with you my track record. I was right about that thing, and I'm not saying that to gloat. I'm just saying that because I want to show you my track record, right? Boyce has a bad track record. And so you should be able to look at that track record and look at this track record and judge people by their track record. Judge people by what they do, how they do it, right? And if Boyce is not willing to do what he needs to do for the collective, not for himself. I'm not interested in somebody who's just going to do something for themselves. If he's not willing to risk it all for the collective and to put the needs of the collective first, I don't know why he should be of value in our community. And I said that in 2016, and I'm saying it in 2024, right? And it just is what it is. People have to earn your trust, and people can lose your trust. And I believe Boyce has lost the trust of the community, or at least he should. And it's time for us to move on from that. That's just my belief. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody for being here. And having this conversation. And I just wanted to go through the Twitter timeline because you can't make this stuff up. You just cannot make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. So fam, listen, I'll let y'all get back to it, to whatever you was doing. If you're on Patreon, I will see you tomorrow night. If not, I will see you at the same time next week. Please keep it easy breezy. Finish your libation. Take care of yourself. Get yourself together. Relax, get a good bath, and don't bother nobody, and definitely don't let nobody bother you, even a PhD. I'll see y'all next time.